Hey everyone, so my name is Daniel, and this is going to be my presentation for psychological PSY 1022 on the first assignment, which is going to be on the topic about the effect of intrinsic motivations on the students' grades. So the reason why I have chosen this topic as my presentation is because, well, the grades of students has really the motivation that students are driven by are always having an effect on the students, as we can see by this background right over here that I have written. And that is why I believe that it is very important for whatever like motivation is given to them is going to affect whether what kind of motivation is given to them can affect their grades. And one motivation that is called an intrinsic motivation is basically when someone performs a task for the satisfaction of doing the task. And this research proposal right over here is meant to be to find out whether intrinsic motivation has any effect on the students' grades. And there are actually a few studies over here that investigate into this matter. So, for example, we have the RU 2010 study that found that intrinsic motivations were positively correlated with the academic performance of the student, as we can see by this highlighted figure right over here. And there were over a sample of 200 students were used in this study. And this is actually a good thing because with a higher sample, it basically means that we can generalize the results of this study to the general population of students. The problem with this study at the same time, however, is that this is the study that's only aged from 18 to 21. So it may not apply to more younger students like those from primary or secondary school, as the type of motivation that affect them would be different. And there's also another study on intrinsic motivations, and that being the Heider et al. 2015 study. That this study found that the intrinsic motivation had this positive impact on academic performance, and there was an overall model and it's significant and had a value of p less than 0.05. And this study also has its strengths and its weaknesses, that being that it was high in generalizability, over 120 students were used. However, the main problem is that only 3 departments of students were used from one university. So once again, generalizability in this case is also an issue. The final study that was investigated and introduced in this poster is the Lemos and Verismo 2014 study. And this one's a bit different because it's investigating on a much more younger student in public schools. So they did 18 public schools right over here. And this is a strength because once again, it's representative. However, one of the main problems is that it was only used for students that were at the average age of 10 years. So we can't generalize the results to older students. And one main problem about these studies is really a generalizability issue. So most of these studies, they were used mainly from participants of the same ethnicity and the same race, and no other races were used. For example, people who were for the Western culture, like for example, Australians and whatnot. And this could be a problem because other kind of students, they may be affected by different motivations. So overall, the literature gap here is that not much ethnicity was used in the study. So therefore, this is my research proposal, and you can see here that we have a few things I want to do in this study. For example, we have the aims, which is to assess the correlation between the intrinsic motivations given to students and the effect it has on students' grades. I hypothesize that the improvement of the grades would be positively correlated with the intensity of the intrinsic motivations given to students, as seen by this graph on top over here. As you can see this graph here. And yeah, this is really my study and what I believe should be done to investigate the effect of intrinsic motivation on academic performance. We need to have a higher generalizability and make sure results collected can be generalized to the general population. That concludes my research proposal. Thank you.